welcome back to Fixing Up in association with Amazon. Now we're about halfway through restoring this fantastic SL320, a nailed on future classic. And it's a car that you can own too. You can enter the prize draw from September the 15th, 2022 to December the 4th, 2022 by either filling out the entry form on amazon.co.uk/fixingup or by following the instructions on the Amazon UK Facebook and Instagram channels. Good luck.
So far, we've inspected the whole car, made a list of what we need to do. We've welded the front winds, and both those and the hardtop have been repainted. And now we've got an awful lot of servicing to do.
Yeah, so I've been on Part Finder, and I've got us all the brake components that we're going to need, and the engine servicing components too. I've got these fantastic brake discs and calipers and flexi hoses from Bosch. We've also got the man filters for the engine, fuel filter as well. And finally, we've also got the correct spec liquid moly oils.
And don't forget these lovely shiny new shock absorbers for the rear, Danny.
They're very, very nice indeed, aren't they? So we're going to start by going to go around the whole car. We're going to service the brakes. We're going to service the engine. We better get busy. There we go. Right, we've got the wheel off, and we can see that the disc is really scored. It's really deep, and I think it's also warped because when we pressed the brake pedal before, there's a lot of judder coming through. I can see the flexi hose is really old. We'll take that off and I'll show you exactly how dangerous that can be too. And of course, we're going to do the caliper as well.
Now it's time to get the old brake calipers off and replaced with Bosch brake parts. Well, disc first then, Danny. You put that in position.
Yeah.
Now I've got the locating pin there, and I put a bit of copper grease on the thread because these are notorious for seizing in position, and then you can't get them out.
Okay. So we'll to get this done properly. Let's get it on the thread. Okay. Right, and now it's in position.
I'm putting some thread locker on there. The last thing we want is these coming undone. That's it.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's one started. Amazing, huh? That one's going in a lot easier than it came out. So they're in and on.
That's good.
Tighten them up fully. Right, okay. Now it's time to fit the Bosch brake pads.
So what are you going to do on the back of the brake pads?
I'm just going to put a little bit of copper slip on there, just to keep everything moving freely. We don't like seized pads. It was tight there.
No.
Yeah, it's because it's maybe not sitting fully flush on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Disc wasn't on properly. So whose fault was that, Clive?
Yours, of course, not mine. Under there. Yeah, you're there.
Gorgeous.
So, do all the others now and bleed it out.
So we have changed the brake flexi hoses, and there's a very good reason for that. Basically, when a brake flexi hose goes, you know about it straight away. It's because your brakes fail. And often brake flexi hoses look okay, and we've cleaned this one up and it looks fine until you do that. And then it becomes comically dangerous. All our brake flexi hoses were like this. Right, so we've just removed the first of the two rear shock absorbers. Of course, it wasn't a job that you would file under easy. I've been in the boot for the last 15 minutes trying to get this locking nut off this nut, but we've done it. Clive's extracted the old shock absorber, which we don't think's been off since the car was made, and now we're going to put a new one back on. I'm going back in, Clive. Here it is. What a mess, eh, Clive?
Yes, absolutely lovely, Danny. Would you like me to do something with that?
Do something with that, please, Clive.
Okay.
Excellent shot. Right, now for the shiny stuff. We are going to replace the rear discs and the rear caliper, and we're also going to use Bosch pads, and we're going to use new shoes that go on the inside of the brake disc. They are the handbrake shoes. Unusual design. Should we get to it?
Why not?
So what have you just been doing, Clive?
Well, I've just adjusted the position of the hose because what you don't want is them kinked. So I loosened it off there and adjusted it. But if you notice, Danny, down the length of the hose, there's a white line.
Yeah.
And that's a guide. If that's nice and straight, you've installed it correctly.
Well, while we're in technical corner, can you tell, we've got the rear pads here. They've come with these little silver panels on the back. What are they for?
Well, they kind of stop the pads squealing and rattling, really.
Okay. And I can see on the inside of those there's already some copper grease.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
Ready to go. Okay, let's shove them in there.
Ah.
In it goes. On the other side. You might need to push the piston back in for that. It's nearly there.
Slightest. That's it. Try it. That.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
All good. I think you're...
There.
Job done.
We're there. We'll have to adjust the handbrake shoes inside.
Yeah. So now we have completely replaced all the brakes with Bosch components. We know the car will stop and we know it will go around corners. Now it's time to make it go better. Let's see what colour it is when it comes out. I've got a suspicion it's going to be really filthy. Yeah, I wasn't wrong. Have a look at that. Yeah, I'm smelling it smells of exhaust fumes. Absolutely disgusting. So now I'm going to change the oil filter, get it in place, and just break it gently off until it becomes hand tight. Now I'm expecting this filter to be pretty mucky. Okay, here we go. Take the housing off. Yep, there it is. And that is really not pleasant. Look at the state of that. Not great. I'm going to throw that away. And now we're going to put the new one in. The flat end goes down into here. Just push it on until you've got some resistance. And then we're going to take the housing and spin that on now that it's got its new O-ring on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Amazon Basics torque wrench set to the correct torque, which is 25 Newton meters. 25 Newton meters. There you go. Heard it click. That's 25 Newton meters. That means that is as tight as the book recommends. So I've got liquid moly oil, 5W40, fully synthetic, perfect for the engine. Right, so that's just about 7 litres in the engine. Now it's time for the air filter. So that is a bit manky, isn't it? Looks like, yeah, look at that. So what you need to do is look deep into the folds and you can see it's not just the debris that's collected, it's also the colour. That is full of dust. When you compare it to what a new filter should look like, you'll see the difference immediately. Chalk and cheese, really. There you go, nice and clean. I've got a 10mm socket, and I've also got a filter from Man Filter, not an air filter, not an oil filter. This is a fuel filter. It's the forgotten filter, the Cinderella filter, the one that people always forget to fit. So important, particularly on an older car that might have some corrosion in the tank. You want all those particles picked up by this before it gets to the fuel injection at the front. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp off the fuel that comes from the tank in particular, because the person who installed this filter installed it the wrong way around. If you have a look on the Man filter that I've got here, it's got an arrow on it, and that means that that's the direction of flow. Okay, so this side should be coming from the fuel tank, that side should be going out to the engine. Perhaps it would have run better had it been installed the right way around, because the innards of these things are very specific as to the direction of the flow. Anyway, we're going to rectify that mistake now with this man filter. I'm putting the man filter on the right way round. It's always worth having someone else around when you're doing a job like this, and make sure that you have a fire extinguisher in the workshop. Nip it up really tight. And now I'm going to let the clamp off. Make sure that the pipe hasn't deformed. Hopefully it'll run better now. We've got a filter on the right way round. What you got there then, Clive?
This, Danny, is my special dipstick.
Oh, and what are you going to do with that?
Well, I'm going to use it next time to change the gearbox fluid and filter.
Well, that sounds a bit tough.
It is, and hence I need my special tool.
Excellent.
Remember, if you're in the UK, you can own this classic. You can enter the prize draw from September the 15th, 2022 to December the 4th, 2022 by either filling out the entry form on amazon.co.uk/fixing-up or by following the instructions on the Amazon UK Facebook and Instagram channels.
And you could be driving off in this fantastic modern classic. See you next time.